Last time we made it to a major milestone, the end of the fully posted seasons. From here on out, we'll be getting into unseen territory. These episodes we're about to get into never made it to the public. Everyone's experiencing these for the very first time together. We're starting with Season 19, Episode 7, The Return to RW, aka the last episode. The one I forgot existed, because I'm an idiot. So this one begins with the leader of the Wonder Girls busting into the Lightning Speed headquarters saying that Christina's been kidnapped and taken to the real world. She asks the team to save her, so the team packs up and heads back to Dubose and re-enrolls in school. We're back in boring Oklahoma and I think I'm going to cry. So Sydney's also going to a random elementary school in town and her teacher notices she's living on the streets. So she's like, hey, why don't you and your friends live in my house? Even though that's definitely not how things work, but okay. This happens, they live with Sydney's teacher now, and that's the end of the episode. No wonder I forgot this trite existed. Anyway, a past me said that the arc that begins here was one of my favorite of the series. That is absolutely no longer true, and this is, in fact, one of my least favorite arcs in the series because it is utterly stupid. So, from here, the episode summaries kind of went kaput. I never wrote any more of them. Except, at one point, I actually wrote super sarcastic summaries for seasons 20 through 25 around the same time I did the LS1 summarized in one sentence post, which was meant to have a sequel, but never did. These never reached the public eye, but they exist, so I'll be able to reference them for these next few seasons. In fact, some of my descriptions going forward might even be derived completely from these sarcastic summaries, so that's cool. Also, a lot of the future episodes don't have proper names, so I named a lot of them on the fly as I was writing the sarcastic summaries, so expect some strange episode names going forward. If you see an asterisk on the title, it's a name I thought of when LS1 was still going. If not, it's not. Got it? Good. Let's go. Season 20, Episode 1, Piercing Arrow. In their quest to find Christina, the Lightning Speed team finds themselves in the middle of a serious case. The mall has been taken over by a group of thugs, and it's up to the team to save it. This episode is Paul Blart Mall Cop in Lightning Speed form, essentially. In the process, the team is confronted by their newest enemies, Arrow, Bruise, Poison, Dagger, and Chaos. If those names sound familiar to you, that's because they're the exact same thugs I used in The Show Must Go On, a coupling fanfiction I wrote in 2015 after I'd already disowned Lightning Speed 1. This arc of Lightning Speed actually very heavily features these characters, so be prepared to see a heck of a ton of them. So the team kicks the dumb gang's butts and sends them packing, but Arrow reveals that they're working under someone named ICEBOLT. Wow, golly, that's cool. Wonder who ICEBOLT could be. Episode 2, Stinging Bruise. So this episode is probably the second most ridiculous episode in the entirety of Lightning Speed, which is really saying something taking literally every other episode into consideration. Jake is failing his history tests, so he has one final shot to take a makeup test or he'll fail his history class. Desperate, he decides the best course of action would be to go back in time, get George Washington, and bring him to the present to help him study. That's right, George Washington. There's absolutely no way this plan could possibly backfire. Well, George Washington wanders off, so Jake has to go find him. He eventually finds out that George Washington was captured by Bruise, a member of the dumb gang, so Jake has to save George Washington and return him to his proper time period. After that, Jake takes his history test and fails. Why is this? Because the Battle of Bunker Hill, which ended up becoming a recurring joke that Jake knows nothing about the Battle of Bunker Hill, and it's so dumb. Oh, also there was something in there about George Washington knowing about Ilya because he also helped Ilya gain its independence too, which is the super dumbest and it's awful why. My gosh, I hate high school. Episode 3, Precious Poison. Sydney's teacher grounds Jake for failing his history test even though she has no grounds of authority to actually hecking do that, and Poison, yet another of the dumb gang, takes the opportunity to attack Jake at home because, I don't know, it's stupid and it doesn't make sense. Episode 4, Utter Chaos. This one is, Rose has a trippy nightmare where she kills all the cheerleaders and Chaos is there, but then she wakes up and it was all a dream. I don't even know what else to say. I don't know why this happened, it just did. Man, I hate my past self for writing this garbage. Episode 5, Slashing Dagger. So there are a good number of episodes where my memory just straight up fails me, and I can't for the life of me remember what they're about. This is one of them. All I know is that this episode has something to do with Dagger, but I have absolutely no idea what, and I have no idea what to say beyond that. Sorry. Episode 6, Thundering IceBolt. The lightning speed team have pinpointed ICEBOLT's hideout and infiltrated to save Christina. They split up, but Jake ends up getting trapped in a room with ICEBOLT, who tries to kill Jake. Jake defeats ICEBOLT and runs away, but along the way he finds Christina. The two of them escape together and go home in happy ending. Wow! I'm sure glad that arc is over, right? Because it's over, right? Season 21, Episode 1, Antaeus' Dark Principality. Here's where everything starts getting 50 million times more convoluted. Antaeus and Naya start going to Jake's high school. Whee! So Jake confronts Antaeus and Naya, and they end up having a fight in the cafeteria that sends them to the principal's office. While they're there, Antaeus accidentally kills the principal. Antaeus accidentally kills the principal. So the three of them are like, well, now what do we do? And Antaeus is like, let's just hide the body. So they do. The police arrive, they can't find the murderer, and they leave. That's it. That's the end. This exists. Oh my good gosh. Episode 2, An Explosive Problem. Rose and Mandy are captured by the Dumb Gang, who are back and thirsty for revenge against the Lightning Speed team, and taken to an abandoned building at the edge of town. They then discover that ICEBOLT plans to use the girls as bait to lure in Jake. As the girls try to escape, Chaos, the lone guard in this situation for whatever reason, reveals that there's a bomb in the building and she's going to blow it up if the girls try to escape. Rose and Mandy barely manage to escape before the building explodes. Chaos survives, but she's arrested before she can get away. Wow, this sure happened! Episode 3, This Just In. Jake meets a newspaper reporter, and they're both promptly captured by Poison and Bruise. The newspaper reporter gives Jake a pep talk, then Jake somehow manages to defeat Poison and Bruise, and the two thugs are hauled off to jail. That's about it. Nothing else to see here. Move along. Episode 4, Geographically Screwed. Yeah, that's definitely a title I made up to make fun of this stupid episode. Arrow hires a hitman named Gio to kill Jake. Gio manages to capture Jake and Rose, but they defeat him and get both him and Arrow arrested. Can you tell how enthusiastic I am at this point? I'm absolutely brimming with enthusiasm. Look at me go! Episode 5, The Big Breakout. With all of her cronies in jail, ICEBOLT has little she can do but ask for help to break them out. She ends up turning to none other than Jade Nickleby, who was just in town, I guess. Jake manages to find out about the plan, though, and tries to stop them, but Jade gains the upper hand in their fight and holds off Jake long enough for ICEBOLT to get her thug cronies back and get the heck out. After that, Jade goes back home into space. I love how often Jade gets hired to do a thing, then yeets back into space. It's hilarious. Episode 6, Not What She Seems. In case you couldn't already guess, no, the arc was never over. So Jake is just out on the town one day when he gets confronted by Pirellis. Jake is like, what the heck are you doing here? And Pirellis is like, yeah, well, Christina's reverse went missing, and I found her with the Wonder Girls, and she told me you rescued her thinking she was Christina, but she wasn't, so... Yep, fake Christina. Her name is Natalie. With that, Jake decides to hit up ICEBOLT's base again to find the real Christina, and takes the rest of the team with him. Sydney gets captured midway through, though, and Jake runs off to find her and finds her with ICEBOLT. And you remember how I said Sydney losing her arm wasn't the worst thing that was going to happen to her? How about losing every single other one of her limbs? I'm not kidding. I'm an absolutely terrible person that should be struck down for her crimes against a literal child. Jake goes berserk and tries to attack ICEBOLT, but she teleports both him and herself to Ilia, and now they're both on top of the tallest tower in Ilia, which is not only out in the middle of nowhere for no reason, but is also a ridiculous 700 stories tall or something like that, because frick, I don't know. ICEBOLT then reveals that she is Christina? Wow. Who saw that coming? Anyone? Everyone? Alright. Christina explains that her irrational boiling hatred of Jake became so intense that she was willing to have him killed by any means necessary because, wow, does she seriously hate him. Like, what the actual frick is this character? That's when Christina decides to tackle Jake off the edge of the building. They both fall off. Jake survives through the magic power of fake physics, because apparently if you're falling and you shoot a lightning bolt at the ground, you'll magically stop your momentum mid-air, I promise. Christina, however, dies because she was an idiot. Bye, Christina, not gonna miss ya. Jake goes home and finds out that Sydney survived and Trey made her robot limbs, but she's going to stay with Trey and be his assistant. With that, Sydney has officially left the team. It's just Jake, Rose, and Mandy now. Honestly, I'm relieved. The Sydney torture is over, and I never have to deal with it again. Hallelujah! With that, we get into the next season and the next arc in the next video. Bye! See you later!